Welcome, gentlemen, everybody here, and members of EPMA, NI, MSME, and Startup Forum, RATA, FPTA. Welcome all. Today is a webinar from Dr. Chanakya Pillai himself, the rockstar, and I hope everybody is going to have a good time listening to him. And there will be one more webinar in coming weeks, again from Chanakya Institute, and hope everybody has a very good learning. I'd like to hand over to Rajesh Doshi to introduce about the course and Dr. Pillai. Rajesh bhai.
Thank you, Sanjay bhai, President of BIA and office bearers and guests and invitees for today's webinar. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you a very humble, at the same time a very towering personality who has taken a very complex subject like the Arthashastra and simplified it for the benefit of all of us to read and understand. Believe me, if we take this textbook of Arthashastra and try to read it, I'm sure about 80 to 90% amongst us would hardly progress beyond a few pages. And here is a man who's passionate about what he does and who is on a mission to simplify the ancient Indian text so that we all can benefit from it. A person who has authored more than a dozen books on Chanakya, and most of the books, or almost all of the books, are national bestsellers, who continues to write more books, and who is ever popular, who is popularly also called as Chanakya Pillai. So without taking much time and giving him all the time so that we can all benefit, I would like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chanakya, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, also fondly called as Chanakya Pillai. So the webinar is all yours. Please take it forward, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh Doshi. It's an honor. No way you can compare me to Chanakya, as everybody does, but it's an honor to be connected to a great personality called Chanakya. So first of all, I like to thank BIA. I cannot thank enough because I'm already a member, an honorary member of Bombay Industry Association, and as always say, Dil ka rishta hai, so bulawa aa gaya, so I have to be present. So thank you, President Sanjay sir, Dr. Rajesh Doshi, Nebel, Ryan, and all the other committee members and members of BIA. BIA is a stalwart organization because very soon we will be seeing the 75th year. Not many organizations and business associations survive this much time. So as I कहते हैं ना, बहुत कुछ सही किया है. So it's right that we have been helping each other, and as an association also, it's a moral responsibility to help each other in this challenging phase. I also would like to welcome all the partnering associations and organizations. And associations is the strength of every particular business. And today also, while speaking, I'll talk about how associations and organizations coming together can beat any particular challenge. With COVID or without COVID, we can only survive along with each other. I read a beautiful statement which said, a person can live alone, but together we survive. Remember this, a person can live alone, but survival is a togetherness game. So you see the situation outside, Paristhiti, but it's the friends, the associates who actually help each other. So thank you so much for everyone for joining in. I also want to welcome my team at University of Mumbai, the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies students who are also here, and students themselves are leaders in their own spaces. So thank you everyone for joining in. Okay, so I don't want to make it look like Chanakya is very, very boring subject. It is a very deep subject, no doubt about it. But as Dr. Rajesh Doshi rightly pointed out, I tried to simplify Chanakya, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure Chanakya is being approached with a lot of practical tips. And I know everyone present over here is a businessman running their own organizations, companies. And today we will see how Chanakya's Niti can actually help us to do our business better. So I'm going to be sharing the slide right now. So I have been already given the rights. So let me just check with everyone. Can you just see the slide? Is it visible? If you can just,
Yes, sir.
is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So we have the Bombay Industry Association, and from the University of Mumbai, I head the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. And of course, there's this Chanakya Anvikshik as a company where I do a lot of consulting work as well. And today we're talking about Chanakya Saptanga model to manage your business effectively. Okay, before I go to Chanakya, let me ask you a question. Okay, now please put it in the chat box. Okay, how many are happy being businessmen or businesswomen? How many of you are actually happy being an entrepreneur? How many of you are happy? नहीं पता नहीं जिंदगी में कुछ नहीं किया तो entrepreneur बन गए. So it's like pushed into a well. So let me just check how many of you really have thought through it and saying that yes, there will be challenges. But somewhere I'm happy being an entrepreneur. I'm not sure. I don't know how to see the chat box over here, but anybody can read out or maybe help out. How many are happy or unhappy?
Sir, most of them are happy.
Excellent.
Some of them are by choice, very few.
Right.
And I think there are happy also.
So I'll tell you the first thing about being a businessman, it is a one-way traffic. Okay. Once you become an entrepreneur, a businessman who is, on his decision-making role as a leader, it is very difficult to go and become an employee. Isn't that true? Even if you are forced to become an employee for whatever reasons, you always look at it and say, agar main entrepreneur hota, businessman hota, so I would have taken better decisions. Isn't it true? So the reality is that all of us, in spite of all the challenges, are actually happy being businessmen. And this question I ask a lot of businessmen, especially when they come and cry in front of me. Pata nahi, pandemic mein kya hoga, kaise hoga, what is happening? And I always tell this, even if the pandemic were not there, we would have still been cribbing about our business. There'll be some challenges or the other. It always is a part of business. But what is very essential to know is that in spite of all the challenges, we have a choice to do business or not to do business. Of course, there is one more choice to improve the business or change the business line. I'm not talking about that. But an entrepreneur actually is a very nice role to play. And I always tell this about marriage and parenting also. Most of the marriages, I'm not telling all, are in its own way giving you the kind of a happiness, the companionship that you want. And definitely parenting, in spite of all the challenges, and a lot of parents feel guilt about it, time nahi milta and all those things. It's an experience that you can go back and say, those were the wonderful days of my life. So in the same way, I would say that all of us should be happy that we are all entrepreneurs, businessmen, and very important, associated with each other during these particular times. So friends, what am I going to do today? Many of you who have been introduced to Chanakya would have got introduced to him as a political strategist, a thinker. Yes, we're going to be looking at that for the time being. But I'm going to be sharing a model called the Saptanga model, which has been personally applied in my own life. I'm sitting in my office, you can see the Saptanga model right behind, some chess diagrams and all those things. And the beauty of the Saptanga model is that it can be easily understood and easily applied. It's very deep, but very practical. And Dr. Rajesh Doshi has been very kind that, he's actually done some of my book launches abroad in US also. And, thanks to BIA family, so many programs that we've done on Saptanga. But for those people who have done it also, you'll find new insights. And those who have never heard it also will get introduced. But I want to offhand announce it that today we will be having a limited understanding because it's a huge concept. But we are going to be offering you an extended training program, absolutely free to all the members who are interested. I was talking to Sanjay Bhai, I was talking to everyone over here saying that, we are on a mission to make sure everybody understands Saptanga more in detail. So remember, I'm telling you in the beginning itself, next Wednesday onwards, for those people who are interested, can take the full program of Saptanga. I'll talk about that later, but let me come to what we would like to cover. Three things today. understanding Chanakya. Second, understanding Saptanga. And third, how Saptanga can be applied in my business. So yes, you're all happy, but I'm sure everybody has got some challenges. So let me start with the first one. Chanakya, who was he? So born in the 4th century BC, known as Vishnugupta Kautilya Chanakya. Same person, three names. Had taken an oath to pull down the Nanda dynasty, and of course, kingmaker of Chandragupta Maurya, Rajaguru with Rajavidya. And remember, all of us businessmen, leaders, entrepreneurs need to know what is leadership. We run a program at the Bombay University. It's a 2 years program where we teach different types of leadership and how we can apply it. 5 years ago, when this subject was given and the vice chancellor told, start leadership as a subject, I said, leadership, a lot of seminars are happening, a lot of conferences are happening, a lot of books being written, but how can you teach leadership for 2 years? And we just counted. Dr. Rajesh Doshi, I did a statistical analysis and we realized every batch goes through 500 to 600 hours of learning. It is a deep subject, a very, very important subject, but very important, a practical subject. So Chanakya had that knowledge of how to make leaders successful leaders. So you see Chandragupta Maurya, and he was guiding him to become one of the greatest leaders that India saw. And you look at this practical challenges. Every businessman knows there are two challenges. One is called internal challenge, and the second is called external challenge. What is internal challenges? Challenges that happen within your company. Employees not being productive, or somebody not performing, or there are other challenges, attrition, and maybe your compliance. A lot of other internal challenges. Maybe your factory is not in order, or even if the factory is in order, the workers are not able to come because of whatever reason. And there's an external challenge. So I'm sure everybody goes through the internal and external challenge. External challenges are like, look at this pandemic or some government policy, and suddenly GST comes in, or globalization, world markets are not doing well. So Chanakya also faced both internal and external problems. So what is it? First, there was this internal problem within Bharat. This person's name was Nanda, the last king of the Nanda dynasty. You have to remove him. अंदर का ही दुश्मन को पहले ठीक करना है. But then there is a बाहर का दुश्मन, Alexander. Okay, so you imagine somebody coming with full force to take over your country. So Chanakya had to practically handle two problems simultaneously, internal and external problem, but he succeeded. There is a movie, a very famous movie, and most of you must have seen, Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar. You remember that Amir Khan's very famous movie? And if you're not watched it, please watch it, because I know BIA members, many of them are cyclists over here. They love cycling and they go out for nice expeditions and they got amazing cycles. But Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar probably was the first movie, a sports movie in India, which actually focused on a very rare sport, which is cycling. I love the movie. I only have one problem with the movie. It says Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar, but Chanakya was the one who defeated Sikandar. So जिसने सिकंदर को हराया वो चाणक्य है. So friends, yes, we need to be a winner, but understand today we Indians are facing a lot of global opportunities as well as global challenges. Chanakya knows how to handle it. And what is interesting is that he actually documented everything in two books, the Kautilya's Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti. Yes. So it is not just about, somebody sometime did it, but that person documented it. And one important thing all leaders should know is that leaders have to be readers. I can see with Kevin Shah sir and many others, a lot of books background, isn't it? Books is a symbol of intellectual power. It's a symbol of experiences being shared by the wise people to others. I remember so many great books that I got recommended. Apart from being an author, I read a lot. In the last BI session, we're talking about a book which Dr. Rajesh Doshi recommends a lot, Good to Great and, Built to Last by Jim Collins. It's a must read for all entrepreneurs, okay? It's a book that even Mukesh Ambani, to a lot of other Jeff Boys reads, okay? So when you're looking at Good to Great, I said, yes, Jim Collins is to be read, but Good to Great is also a subject that Chanakya dealt with. So he wrote two books, the Kautilya's Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti, very profound books. And I have tried to bring out some certain gems and strategies of these two books to the common person, and definitely to the leaders in the business world. So what are we going to do?
मैं वेदों को साक्षी मानकर
So I'm going to be starting with a small video, which is one of the favorites of mine because it talks about the role of Chanakya. As we say, Raja se bhi bada Rajguru hota hai. Even if you are a leader, you require some mentor, some guide who can help you. So friends, let's have a look at this particular video. It's a 5 minutes video, but what's important is that it talks about the philosophy of leadership. So if you are a businessman, don't do business only for the sake of money. Of course, money, profitability is important. The key question people ask is that, what's your philosophy? So if you look at organizations that have survived more than 100 years, okay, why 100 years? Even after 25 years, if you are surviving, it is only because you have certain philosophy which is right. BIA, 75 years. Tata Group, 150 years. Think about all these things. Rotary clubs, many of your members, 100 years. So what's important is that if you want to take your business to the actual level where the business grows beyond you, it can be started by you, but it should not end with you. So what makes the business stand is the value systems and certain philosophy. So before I teach the strategy of Saptanga, I will talk about the philosophy of leadership that Chanakya believed in. Let's see this video together.
ज्ञान सभा में विभिन्न जनपदों से आए स्नातकों से प्रश्न करना प्रारंभ कर रहा हूं। मैं आलोक, काशी जनपद का निवासी, आचार्य पिनाक पाणी का शिष्य, सभा को प्रणाम करता हूं। धर्म और अर्थ का स्रोत क्या है? धर्म और अर्थ का स्रोत राज्य है। प्रमाण: नमोस्तु राज्य वृक्षाय षड्गुण्याय प्रसाकिने सभादि चारु पुण्याय त्रिवर्ग फलदायिने। राज्य का मूल क्या है? राज्य का मूल राजा है। राजा, मंत्री परिषद, सेनापति, सैनिक, प्रजा और देश का परस्पर संबंध क्या है? राजा राज्य रूपी वृक्ष का मूल है। मंत्री परिषद उसका धड़ है। सेनापति उसकी शाखाएं हैं। सैनिक उसके पल्लव है। प्रजा उसके पुष्प है। देश की संपन्नता उसके फल है और समस्त देश उसका बीज है। दूसरों पर विजय पाने की अपेक्षा किस पर विजय प्राप्त करना राजा के लिए परम आवश्यक है? दूसरों पर विजय पाने की अपेक्षा इंद्रियों पर विजय पाना परम आवश्यक है। अतः काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मान, मद और हर्ष के त्याग से इंद्रियों पर विजय प्राप्त करनी चाहिए। क्या मैं इंद्रिय जयी नहीं हूं? बोलो, क्या मैं इंद्रिय जयी नहीं हूं? मुझसे ही किसी राजपद अथवा काशापणों की भीख की अपेक्षा रखने वाले तुम प्रश्न का उत्तर क्यों नहीं देते? इसी में साहस है मेरे प्रश्न के उत्तर देने का? नाम अग्निवेश, जनपद तक्षशिला, आचार्य तक्षशिला का गुरुकुल।
आचार्य वर रुचि ने भी तक्षशिला के गुरुकुल में शिक्षा प्राप्त की है।
सबसे बड़ा शत्रु अहंकार, निर्धन का धन, विद्या। सत्पुरुष कौन है? जो परोपकार के लिए आगे बढ़े वही सत्पुरुष है। स्त्री का आभूषण लज्जा। सबसे बड़ा वीर कौन है? दानवीर। जो सब कुछ लुटा दे वह दानवीर, और जो लूट रहे हैं वो ज्ञानी। धन की रक्षा किससे करनी चाहिए? धन की रक्षा चोरों व राजपुरुषों से करनी चाहिए। सुख का मूल धर्म है। धर्म का मूल अर्थ है। अर्थ का मूल राज्य है। राज्य का मूल इंद्रिय जय है। इंद्रिय जय का मूल विनय है। विनय का मूल वृद्धों की सेवा है। राजा का हित किसमें है? राजा का हित प्रजा के हित में होता है।
यानी मैं प्रजा का अहित करूं तो मेरा भी अहित होगा।
हाँ।
तो क्या तुम्हारे शास्त्रों के आगे मेरा सामर्थ्य कुछ भी नहीं?
नहीं।
कौन? मैं
विद्धों की सेवा है।
राजा का हित किसमें है?
हाँ।
तो क्या तुम्हारे शास्त्रों के आगे मेरा सामर्थ्य कुछ भी नहीं?
नहीं।
कौन कहता है सामर्थ्य ही शास्त्रों को जीवित रखता है? मूर्ख! बोलो, क्या है तुम्हारे शास्त्रों की दृष्टि में मेरी स्थिति?
एक वेतनभोगी सेवक से बढ़कर कुछ नहीं।
तो मैं यहां बैठे लोगों का सेवक हूं। उत्तर दे मूर्ख! ओह, तो अब इसकी बारी है। ब्राह्मण, तू नहीं मांगेगा भिक्षा? लूट ले, इन कठों के साथ तू भी लूट ले धनानंद को। क्यों ब्राह्मण, तू शास्त्रों की चर्चा नहीं करेगा? किसी राजपद अथवा धन के लिए धनानंद के आगे हाथ नहीं पसारेगा?
मेरा धन ज्ञान है धनानंद, और मेरे ज्ञान में शक्ति रही तो मैं अपना पोषण कर सकने वाले सम्राटों का निर्माण कर लूंगा। मुझे धन अथवा राजपद की कोई लालसा नहीं।
एक साधारण भिक्षुक ब्राह्मण और इतना अहंकार?
शिक्षक साधारण नहीं होता धनानंद, प्रलय व निर्माण दोनों उसकी गोद में खेलते हैं।
तो क्यों आया था तू यहाँ?
सोचा था पाटलिपुत्र में ज्ञान के प्रकाश को देखूंगा, पर देख रहा हूं कि ज्ञान के सूर्य को राहु ग्रस रहा है।
तो वो राहु मैं हूं। निकालो इस ब्राह्मण को यहाँ से।
मैं कुत्ता नहीं हूं धनानंद, जिस स्वामी की ठोकरें खाने के बाद भी उसके तलवे को चाटे।
ब्राह्मण अवध है।
जो हाथों में तलवार छुपाना जानते हैं वे अपनी रक्षा करना भी जानते हैं।
मैं किसी के रक्त का पैसा नहीं।
कल तेरा द्वितीय जन्म हुआ चंद्रगुप्त।
So you see in this particular thing, at the end of it, Chanakya is frustrated with the system, but he is not going to sit down over there and cry. He becomes what is required to create new leaders. So you see this end, there's Chandragupta Maurya, he trains him and of course becomes a Samrat and gets India into that position of global leadership, Sone ki chidiya as we call it, okay? So friends, I will pass on this video to everyone. I will pass it on to Rajesh sir and Sanjay sir, and everyone. We can, or we can just go to YouTube and type, Shiksha Sadharan Nahi Hota. There's so many lessons. As businessmen, one of the very key things to do is that, have some value systems. My teacher used to tell me, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. And that is how you manage tough times. Tough times will come. But the question is that, what's your value system? What do you fall on? I'll give you a corporate example. How many of you heard about Sony? Just put your hands up. Or whatever. How many have heard about Sony? Correct? So everybody knows about Sony, right? And Sony is a Fortune 100 company and maybe a Fortune 50 company also. But you'd be surprised, there was one decision Akio Morita took that Sony is such a big company today. I'll give you that instance. I would recommend all of you to read this book called as Made in Japan by Akio Morita. Made in Japan, in that the instance comes that Akio Morita, the founder, had this wonderful, feeling of giving back to America. Because remember that Hiroshima, Nagasaki period, they were bombed, at the Pearl Harbor story and all those things. So he said, I'm a naval officer. I will create a company to prove that we are also good, but I will headquarter that in America. So Sony is a Japanese company headquartered in US. So during the early stage of tough times, Sony always believed in innovation. In this video, Chanakya says that, Mera dhan jnaan hai. For all the people who are businessmen, if you want to grow your business, please believe in R&D, research and development. Don't just try to just be a trader, be a leader. What is the difference? Trader thinks about how much money from here, there, and you get it. No. A leader believes in continuous change, being part of that change and drive that change. So Sony believed in innovation, and today why Sony is biggest is that they keep experimenting and experimenting and experimenting. So after America, let's take the time. At call.
Can you look into this, please?
I think someone is on unmute. Can everyone just mute
everyone first?
Yeah.
The admin should be able to identify who it is and mute it.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. So Akio Morita believed in R&D a lot, and Japanese, are very, very good in innovation and trying something new. So during this initial stage, they bought out what is called as one of the most lovely products of those days, called the Walkman. Remember the Sony Walkman? It was a change because you had to be stationary to listen to music, a gramophone and things like that. They'll say, no, you can have that smaller version in reels, put it in your, maybe in a pocket and Walkman. But they were not sure, and Accumulator was very clear, ये product मुझे America में बेचना है. So he went to America, so electronic stores, he went and all those things. What is this Walkman? So one wholesaler looked at it and said, wow, fantastic product, yeah. Maja aa jayega. This is going to create a revolution. And remember, they were having financial crisis because, manufacturing R&D, ask all the businessmen over here. It is not that easy, right? So you have a prototype, you're going for a big order. A guy looks at it and he's a trader, not a leader, okay? So he said, acha mali bechna hai na. So ek baat hai sir. I'm going to give you a big order. How much are you expecting? He said, 5,000 units is good. And he said, I'm going to give you 10,000 unit order. Double? Wow. That's something, right? So yeah, I'm going to give 10,000. But if the rates are good, I'm going to give an order of 20,000 units. Okay? Wow. They're like, yeah, wow. So, mere sare financial problems solved with one order. But that wholesaler told only one condition. This one condition is the most dangerous. Order hai, lekin one condition. And all of you know this one condition kya kar sakta hai? Make or break. He told the condition is that I will buy the Walkman with whatever right pricing, we'll work on that. But a label jo hai na, wo Sony ka nahi hoga. I will put whatever label. So you decide how much money you want and all those things. 20,000, I can guarantee. Let's start with 10,000. But the label will not be Sony, it will be yours. What would you do in such a situation when you have a financial crisis? You're not sure whether the company will work out or no. And then here is the biggest order of your lifetime from a wholesaler who can make it big, who cannot manufacture it himself. What will you do? Immediately, the first thing, remember, I'm giving you a very practical Chanakya Niti. The first thing Chanakya did was to tell that whenever you have a problem, consult a mitra. Okay, so business associations give you that thing. Whenever in crisis, call up. I always keep calling up, Rajesh sir, Sanjay sir, they will chalo yaar baatein karte. The more you have friends, the less will be your challenges. Challenges will be there, but you will get out of the box thinking. So Mr. Akio Morita immediately called up his partner back in Japan. And I said, I have a good news and a bad news. So you tell me what is the good news or bad news. So the good news is that we are getting a big order. How much? Okay, minimum 10,000 rupees, but looks like we can even make it 20,000. Sorry, 10,000 units, 20,000. Wow, I'm ready with the manufacturing. Don't worry, aap order leke aao, yahan pe production and shipping I'll take care. There's only one challenge. That label will not be Sony. So branding, branding karte, I'm talking about almost 40 years ago. So it will not be Sony. What do you do? Partner said, Forget the branding, winding, paisa chahiye, chalo kuch bhi chalega and all those things. So go for it, I'm giving for you. He kept the phone down, thought about it for 2 minutes. He went back to that wholesaler and told him, sorry sir, नाम तो सोने का होगा, नाम बड़ा. Yeah, I am not creating just a business for profitability. I'm creating a brand and I'll headquarter in US. He left. He was called back and said, "Okay, done. Give me a good price. I'm going to place the first 20,000 order." Friends, this is where the Chanakya's philosophy comes in. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. So in these tough times, don't think, distress selling and pata nahi. Just stick on, So you have to believe in yourself. And the most important, and this one quality every leader has to know, is called Indriya Jayaha. He spoke about, when you discuss the philosophy, what is Indriya Jaya? Indriya means self-control. Don't get excited, don't get worried, don't get into anxiety, depression. So many psychological counselors today. Arey baap re, look at all universities and colleges. Everybody wants one. What is that one course? Psychology. Arey baba, sabse bada psychology kya hai pata hai? Willpower. Your mind is your biggest friend and your biggest enemy. And spirituality is already taught that. So as businessmen, you should have that positivity and saying that, come on, it doesn't matter. I'll stand. And if you have Indriya Jaya, self-control, you actually become Indra, the leader. Indra is a leader, isn't it? God of kings. So if you want to be a business leader, believe in yourself, believe in your product, believe in your brand, and of course, stand for your value systems. So with the philosophy of Chanakya, let's move on. Okay. So friends, I'm going to introduce you to some wonderful knowledge of our country, ancient Indian wisdom, but practical. I'm talking about the book Arthashastra, which Dr. Rajesh Doshi mentioned. When I read it for the first time, I said, "Kuch nahi samajh mein aa raha." It's written in original Sanskrit, and it is there. The original sutras written by Chanakya, the whole palm leaves is available in Mysore University. Contains 15 books, 150, 6,000 sutras. But it's actually known as a book of economics, statecraft, punishment, warfare strategy. Chanakya is like economist, yes, but Rajniti, statecraft, punishments, Dandaniti, warfare strategy. But it talks about a lot of things, principles of management, how to hire people, how to educate people, accounting systems, consulting, handling competition, time management, everything required for a reader, how to select an employee, leadership skills, strategic thinking, etc., etc. If you're interested in knowing this more, we have a huge group of students who are now teachers of Arthashastra. You can take help of them. But my role is to actually tell you that this is the wealth that we don't have valued in our own country. When I read for the first time, a lot of appreciation, but I went into it, did my R&D, did my PhD on this particular subject, did my MA in Sanskrit, and I said, wow, that's how my book Corporate Chanakya came in. All of you must have known this. And, my whole BI team has been supportive for me to promote this book. Dr. Rajesh Doshi, in fact, sends all my books to Prime Minister Narendra Modi also. So what is the idea is that from this book of Arthashastra original, I have written 17 books. तो किसी ने मुझे अच्छा मैसेज फॉरवर्ड किया, चाणक्य में एक किताब लिखा और ये डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्लई ने उसमें से 20 बुक निकाला. But the idea is not about 1 or 20 books. The idea is that so much wisdom. How many books I can still write because it's practical and relevant. So what are we going to do? We're going to be seeing the Saptang model, how we can make it relevant. So this is your book for life. This is your Bible to become successful in business, okay? So yes, you should read all the other books. I'm saying that, read lot and lot. But if you have any challenge, it's like for me, I open this book and I get a solution, okay? So here it is. But before I introduce Saptanga, this one subject everybody should know, Anvikshiki. I'm sure many of you must know, what is Anvikshiki? This is what Chanakya is known for. Anvikshiki means strategic thinking, the science of strategic thinking. Indians have to believe in strategic thinking. Of course, we are already strategic thinkers, but we should be global strategic thinkers. छोटा छोटा एक दूसरे के साथ क्या झगड़ा करते हो यार, जरा लेके जाओ, वर्ल्ड लेवल पे कॉन्करिंग करो. We have been used to play the game of you versus me. Now the game is you and me. The association should know beyond competition, you have to think about collaboration. I can tell you this, in many places, especially, in China, you don't see them, of course, everybody has got the internal fights, but that's okay. But when they come together and say, we go together. Okay, so it's very important to look at strategies. What is Anvikshiki? The science of how to think. This is where Chanakya comes in. It teaches one to think alternative solutions to a problem or situation. It's all about इंटेलिजेंस मैनेजमेंट. भगवान ने सबको बुद्धि दी है. रिमेंबर वन थिंग, बुद्धि को कैसे इस्तेमाल करना ये नहीं पता. Everybody's got intelligence, isn't it? But we don't know what is called optimum utilization of the intellect. It's like, let's say all of you have got a phone, it could be an iPhone or any other phone. How many of us know the features? We have using only 4 or 5 of the key features, isn't it true? But the reality is that an iPhone can be used for multi things. Any mobile phone can be used as a remote control. You can lock your house, you can lock your car, you can put on your AC and put on the switches. True or no? So this is something which is phenomenal, but it depends upon how you can use it. So remember, friends, everybody is born intelligent, but the training to use your intelligence is not there. Chanakya did that. So everybody knows that they're intelligent. Unfortunately, education system looks at intelligence as how much marks you got in the exams. That is not intelligence. That is only memory recall. Before the exams, I am wise. After the exams, I am wise. I remember everything. But during the exam, I'm otherwise. Businessmen should be strategic thinkers throughout. Before starting the business, during the challenges of the business, and most important, after you exit your business. Exit your business. Yes, Chanakya believes that the leader is the one who creates more leaders. So if the business stops with your generation, shame, shame, puppy shame. You have to start about succession planning. You have built a company over 25 years. You may not run it. Your family may not run it. It's okay. But easy solution to sell it off and no, you're building a brand. Remember Sony. So today India is on a point that we have to build global brands, but we don't have the strategy. And look at what he says. Ambikshiki is practiced by investigating how to do it, how to do it, how to do it. It has to be spiritually good, and of course based on philosophy, what we call as a Vedic law. It has to have material gain. Business करने को पैसा भी तो चाहिए ना. Material gain and loss in economy, you have to manage that. Good policy and bad. How do you make good policies in your office? And especially today, with the pandemic striking, today we're talking about physical and digital models, isn't it? So work from home, work from anywhere. So today the leadership is about a hybrid model. There are a lot of courses happening where you take a leadership in the post-COVID era. It's going to be very different. It's going to be very different. Your investment may be more into technology. Today we are also using a Zoom platform. There'll be various other platforms. So you have to look at new policies to scale up your business. If you don't, it's gone. You have to be very clear. You will have to be proficient and efficient in thought. Sochna sahi, speech, bolna sahi, and action, karna sahi. Keeps your mind steady in adversity and prosperity. A lot of people get excited in profits. A lot of people get depressed in loss. No. You have to be equanimous. And Amrikshik and Chanakya teaches you that. Okay? That's another subject. We'll deal with it some other time. I've written a book on this, Chanakya and the Art of Thinking. That's Anvikshiki. But I will talk about the Saptanga model. Okay? And remember 6,000 sutras, not 1, not 2, not 3. Can you believe Einstein became famous because of one formula, E is equal to mc square, isn't it? And he's known as one of the greatest brains of all times. And Chanakya created 6,000 formulas. Wealth of knowledge. I don't have the time to take all the 6,000, even though given an opportunity, I will. But the idea is that I'll be introducing it to one formula, the Saptanga. There's a reference over here. You can see it, 6.1.1. Arthashastra, 6th book. So Arthashastra is divided into 6 books. Okay, 6th book, chapter number 1, sutra number 1. I will read it in Sanskrit, explain to you how Chanakya used it, and then comes my point, how do you apply it in your business? Swami Amatya Janapada Durga Kosha Danda Mitrani Prakriteya. Oh, Swami Amatya Janapada Durga Kosha Danda Mitrani Prakriteya. So the story goes like this. You saw Chanakya is training Chandragupta Maurya. Little boy, doesn't understand anything. And by the way, he's not even from a king's family. At least businessmen who are born in a business family have the advantage of getting trained by their parents. Isn't it true? Even on a dinner table. वो रात को जो घर पे बातें होती है ना, उसमें से भी बिजनेस सीखते हैं. और उसमें बिजनेस नहीं सीखा तो कुछ नहीं सीखा. You may go to the best business school, but if your father and your grandfather has been a businessman, learn from them at home. Chandragupta Maurya had no opportunities. So when he was learning all this Raja Vidya, he asked a basic question to his guru Chanakya. You are training me to be a leader. What am I supposed to do? Modern day HR people say, what is your KRA? KRA का मतलब key result area. मुझे करना क्या है? बिजनेसमैन तो बोल रहे और राजा तो बोल रहे, बट करना क्या है? And Chanakya says you have to manage a kingdom, pura rajya. There is nothing that is left. Everything is your responsibility. What do you mean by managing a rajya? What do you mean by managing a business? I said, wait, that's 7 things put together becoming a kingdom. So if you know how to manage the 7 things, you can manage anything. Okay, what are these 7 things? So a kingdom consists of 7 things. Swami, the king. So if there is a rajya, a kingdom, the first requirement is a king. And here I want to make it uni-gender. It can be a king or a queen also. And we have seen fantastic women leaders in this particular country. One of the most understated women leaders of this country is Ahilya Bai Holkar. Please study it. And whenever you go to Indore next, okay, the airport itself is called as, Ahilya Bai Holkar Airport. Great leader from the Maratha, this whole legacy. So you'd be surprised her administrative skills, amazing. Okay, so Swami or Swamini. So first requirement is a leader. But can the leader run it? No. Ministers. Raja ke saath. Okay, uski mantri parishad honi chahiye. Yesterday only Modi ji, I think, shifted his cabinet ministers, isn't it? So sub change kar diya, performance, underperformance. But as Pranav always puts it, but remember one thing, 4 key positions kabhi nahi change karenge. Finance minister, defense minister, all those key positions wahi rahega. Apna hai na. But yes, you need to have a cabinet of minister amatya. So a leader along with his efficient ministers and janapada, happy citizens, the country, India is a land of villages. Even today, even though a lot of people are migrating to cities, still India's heart is in villages. That's why Abdul Kalam sir had this very interesting point that, why people should not migrate. Because, the real people are in villages. And how do you give the benefits of the rural people the benefits of the urban amenities? So he had a concept called Pura, providing urban amenities in rural areas. So instead of looking at migration, we should look at reverse migration, because India still lives in villages. Gandhiji, when he traveled all over India, his guru, political guru, Gopal Krishna Gokhale told him, "Tum South Africa se aaye ho, lekin Bharat ko samjho." I hope all people know this strength that India's biggest market is the rural area. Reliance understands it. Tata understands it. Okay. So exports to karo, lekin andar ka chodo. Parle ji understands it. Amul understands it. If you get a distribution right, domestic market is very big. So that's country, the praja, the villages. So Gandhiji actually traveled to all India, and then he says that India actually lives in India. And that's how he got strategy to actually understand, connect the villagers. They'll be able to bring down the Britishers. Okay, so common man, and then he had a lot of strategies around it. So okay, so leaders should make the people happy. Third requirement of a kingdom. 4, Durga. In the olden days, it was fortified city. The Durga, that is the Killa, fort. So 4th requirement. 5th, treasury. A good kingdom should be economically very strong. Why was India Sone ki Chidiya? Because it was a decentralized model of economy. Every village was a self-sufficient economic model. 3 things in every village. Number 1, it had a village economy. They all used to work amongst themselves. And don't think that India was only an agricultural economy. Okay, it's a myth. That's how Britishers looked at it. Every particular village had defined 16 professions. एक सोनार होता था ना हर गांव में. There was a blacksmith, there was a goldsmith, there was an astrologer, there was, of course, small scale industries. So all of you know who are in the small scale industry. That's our strength. And there was musicians, there were vaidyas. So self-sufficient economy. The first thing to understand Indian economy from the village is a village economy. Second is called the temple economy. We never had this great banks. Banking is a 300-year-old concept, but before that, go to all these banks, they have these all these things. And the third is family economy. Yes, जब भी जरूरत पड़ती है तो हम family members ही help करते हैं ना, और extended family called the friends. So राज्य का निर्माण एक अच्छे treasury और कोष से होता है. Then army, yes, external enemies will come, so you should have a sena, and then ally, mitra. So if all these are in place, then this state, the kingdom is efficient. So repeating it, for a healthy kingdom, okay, first of all, requirement is leadership. Yata raja tatha praja. So as the leader, be a role model leader. Okay, we've seen so many examples in pandemic. The situations are bad, but leader says, "Koi baat nahi, we'll do it together. Together we can." But that is not enough. A leader cannot be a one-man show. He should have intelligent people, amatya, the ministers. They should have people who are also working. In fact, I go to the extent of telling जैसे राजा का धर्म है वैसे प्रजा का धर्म भी है. Okay, so Chanakya said Praja Dharma is also equivalent. So that's why, a Prime Minister also puts it, that citizens should also contribute to Swachh Bharat. Government cannot keep cleaning. Kachada bhi dalne ka roko jara bhaiya. So the Praja Dharma is also there. So happy citizens, they do their duties. And MB Atreya, one of the management gurus, one of the great management gurus, PhD from Harvard, but worked in India a lot. He says something nice. He says, if we want to really beat China's manufacturing, we should get our work ethics right. Okay, so right at the down level to the government policies, we can get a productivity culture. Of course, everybody's working. Nobody can destroy you. Okay, so he's training Chandragupta how to be a good leader. First of all, be a good leader. Second is make sure you involve everyone and make it profitable. Okay, so I'm going to be using this model for business. Clear? So okay, Chanakya is fine, but मेरा धंधे का क्या? कोई बात नहीं, आप तो राजा हो ना. So let us look at this way. How do we apply the Saptanga model in our businesses? Okay, so can we turn around the whole thing? I'm so glad a lot of you are actually making notes. It's very, very important because note keeping is also a very important quality of a leader. Okay. Yes, note keeping is a very important quality of a leader. And I believe that note keeping actually goes on to become systems and processes. Yes, note keeping goes on to become systems and processes. So let me just put it as a business model. Okay. So number one, Swami would be the CEO, everybody or whatever it is. What do you call managers? Who is Janapada, your client or your customers? Durga, your head office. So if you're in manufacturing, you require a plant and a machinery. But today, Durga is physical and digital infrastructure. So Zoom is also there, systems and processes. And I also go to the extent of telling, it's also important to have a unique culture. So when people come to the office, they may feel something different. Especially today we say safe working places. When I say safe, I'm not only talking about, sanitized working places. That's physical safety, but also the safety of the, yahan pe jaoge, so all employees are taken care. And especially with, women joining the workforce, a lot of things that you have to make sure everybody's taken care, safe. So physical, digital, and cultural. Imagine Tata Group of companies, pre-independence, almost 100 years ago, 120 years ago, actually had the policy of, listen carefully, okay? Women could get their children to their factories, especially the textile mills, and they had baby crutches. That's leadership, okay? They said, my employee should come. In fact, tabhi to itni garibi thi and all those things, but Empress Mills and various other textile industries. In fact, there's a saying, I was reading in one of the Tata stories. The woman used to tell, I come from home to the factory with a child who is undernourished. Khana hi nahi hai na? But I go back home every day with a healthier child. Leadership. So tell me one thing, will people ever leave such an organization where you are taken care? And I want to tell you a formula, okay? All of you remember this. If you are able to provide food and free food to your employees, it works like magic. Basic hai na, roti, kapda, makan, roti se to shuru hoti hai. Try this out in whatever way, because India has a culture. When you come home, chai nasta is guaranteed. So can you make your company a family and create that culture? That's Durga. Physical, of course, have nice, air conditioning, have nice seating, and a factory, good latest machinery. That's all fine. But also digital, equipped with the latest technology, physical to digital. But important is also to create a nice culture of safety and productivity. So a lot of people make it nice, but productivity with the chahiye. That's how you build your business. Kosher. Your finance, your accounts. Chanakya says, treasury should not be full. It should be overflowing. Extra paisa hoga to kitna aanand hoga na? Yahan pe we are working hand to mouth. We're taking loans, managing this, that, and all those, no salaries to pay. Then you do something, liquidate some asset. I'll give you one case study of one of the best examples of role model leadership in pandemic. It's a company, very famous company called Asian Paints. All of you know about it. So in the early days when pandemic stuck, the managing director actually, paid more to the employees, not reduce their salaries. So a lot of people started asking me, how come he is able to manage? And he says, I'm very clear. We have extra funds. I went to the board, took the approval, and said, can we pay? That's the way you inspire. So look at the Asian Paint story. But he could take that decision only when he had reserves. Okay. So one thing is that मैं अपने लोगों को नहीं निकालूंगा. And that's a great attitude. But what about your finances? So work on your finances and make sure that even in the good times or the bad times, it's used up. Okay. So I think all of us know the concept of saving and investments. So that's a good kosher. Chanakya spoke about them in detail. Danda army, your team, your workers, your driver, your peon. Those people may not be very intelligent. They may not be strategic thinkers like the Swami or the Amartya, but they're important. In fact, again, going back to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he says, sometimes the war are won by not the generals or the majors. They're actually won by the small soldier who will tell you what to do because they have hands-on experience. Never undervalue the people who work on the shop floor. They have an insight. When Tata Nano was created, it's a sad and a bad story. Sad and a bad story also. Why? Because we created it, did not take off. That's okay. But not many people know that Tata Nano, which was one of the greatest creation, the most economic car, had a very interesting thing, which not many people know. Of course, now nano production has gone away. But what is important is that with that creation of nano, Tata Group has got 120 plus unique intellectual property. Are you aware of this? So the car may not be there, but the creativity of what went into the car is all patented by Tata Group. So that's what I said. So kisne kaam kiya? In fact, the chief designer of Nano is a friend of mine, Nikhil Jadhav, a childhood friend of mine. He was telling me, Ratan Tata was so passionate about it. He valued every suggestion coming from the shop floor. Car is gone, but the ideas are still there. And that is used in the other Tata automobiles. So Tata, don't think it's a failure. It owns the Jaguar and the Land Rovers also, isn't it? So today, what the people tell you, okay, the small guys documented, make into an intellectual property. In fact, I would maybe suggest all of you to create what is called as institutional memories. We look at company as a very profit-making organization. Of course, it has to make profit, but we don't realize that along with that, you're building in a lot of things. And that can be used some other time in some other ways. Create memories, document everything, capture ideas. I see that very much in German companies. They make sure that they capture all the ideas. In fact, in BASF, the chemical specialization company, if you give an idea, you actually get rewards. And if the idea succeeds, you get double the salary. So they encourage, ideas capture karo, because the people, the danda, the shop floor, have a lot of other insights. You should have a system to capture it, not just a suggestion box on some comment. Banana padta because some government policy. No. You have to make sure you take that seriously. And finally, in business, you require mitra, your ally, a friend, a consultant, your suppliers, everybody. We never do business alone. We do business in an ecosystem. Isn't it true? हम धंधा अकेले नहीं करते, हमारे साथ बहुत लोग हैं. And it's always a ripple effect. If one leader comes and tells, करते हैं, सब लोग करेंगे. One leader says, कुछ नहीं. Imagine if it's a top leader, somebody like, a Narayan Murthy or an Azim Premji. If they say, there is no hope. Arey, they were gone. But at the same time, he comes and says, no problem, we'll do it together. Everybody gets hope. You require your business to have a lot of people who will be with you, your mitras. I'm so glad BIA, along with the other partnering organizations, are all helping each other. We are here to give. And that's why we are always telling this, this program, we are going to give you more and more free. In fact, Sanjay Bhai has been so kind. Radha kitna charge karega? Bolo, Rajesh is like, please tell me. Wait. Pehle do. Pehle value to do. Aapka dhanda badega to aap to paisa doge hi na. And I remember this golden advice that Rajesh sir gave me once. This is the time to support each other. Isn't it true? Only if we survive can we grow, isn't it? So today is more about survival and growth to hoga hi. So friends, this is the basic introduction. For a good business, you require good business leadership. But you require good managers, happy clients, good infrastructure, physical, digital, cultural, strong treasury. More profits is good. Businessmen are supposed to be wealth creators. Danda, committed team who is ready to fight for you, die for you. And finally, mitra, good associates, suppliers, everything. Since we're talking about an association, I want to just tell one instance. Some of you must have heard about a company called as Varroc. Varroc Engineering? Very interesting company. I worked with them for a whole year, and that was a turnaround year for Veroc also. So what had happened is that Veroc started getting big orders from Bajaj because the automobile industry was zooming.
It's
going
5
ahead.
o'clock.
And it so happened that they did not know what to do, so they were ready for the order. But Tarang Jain, the chairman, said, "Listen, if I want to grow, मेरा input भी grow होना चाहिए, the suppliers and everybody, but they are a small scale industry." So he called a meeting, and I was part of that meeting, huge meeting with almost 100 suppliers, and saying, "Listen, I know I have got huge order." So that time I remember it was some 200 crores, and I'm ready to go for maybe 1,000 crores or whatever. But along with my growth, if I want to grow, you should also grow. You know what he did? He said, "I have kept 100 crores separately to invest in your companies. Order मैं दूंगा, पैसा भी मैं दूंगा, लेकिन आप मैन्युफैक्चर करो." See, that is the confidence you should give to your mitras. ऐसा नहीं कि ऑर्डर दो और उनको खींचो, अरे वो ही सर्वाइव नहीं करेंगे तो मैं कैसे ग्रो होऊंगा. So we have to create an ecosystem where everybody goes together. That's what BI is doing. Since it's 5 o'clock, I'll just take one point to explain this, because each of them is to be understood in detail. 6,000 sutra. Qualities of a Swami, what are the qualities, how do you work on it, what are the challenges, the huge things. We are going to offer you that program also at the end of it. But before that, let's only take one, Swami. Remember, finally, Raja Kalasya Karanam. You're seeing the same business times. Some people have shut down business, some people are growing in business. And let me tell you, it is not just about sector. Oh, pharma is doing very well. Okay, this is doing very well. No, in the same pharma also some people have shut down. So it's your leadership that matters. Paristhiti and manasthiti. Paristhiti kuch bhi ho, manasthiti should be strong and strategic. Okay, so we will see the leadership qualities some other time. But I thought I will touch upon one of the pillars, very important for businessmen. Okay, very important because we are talking about how to manage your business efficiently. And you know what is the important one for businessmen? Kosha, the fifth one. Okay, so I'll put some thoughts about what kosha is. It is a backbone of any business. Businessmen are supposed to be wealth creators. All undertakings dependent first on finance and hand requires foremost attention. I hope all of you give importance to your treasury right now. Don't become money minded, become money conscious. A strong and a well managed treasury is the heart of any organization. So we need to create wealth and we need to manage our finances. These are the qualities that Chanakya said, acquired lawfully. Okay, very important. Compliance, everything has to be there. And today with technology coming in, compliance you can't avoid. By ancestors and oneself, अगर आपके पुरखों का धन है, उसको भी बढ़ाना आपका responsibility है. One that can withstand calamity. I hope all of you have insurance and all those things, and also make sure we are together. One, even when there is no income for a long time. See, sometimes cash flows does get affected, but it doesn't matter. Go on. So one action point, he, the leader, should check the accounts of each day group of 5 days, fortnight, 4 months, and a year. हमारा होता है ना, weekly reporting, this, that. People only look at accounts when filing returns का time आता है with the CA. No, Chanakya says check your finance and accounts on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly, half year and year. So keep an eye on your accounts regularly. That's how businessmen succeed. The moment your eye is off the finance, disaster is guaranteed. Even if you're profitable, you have to keep an eye on the finance. That's a very important leadership role, to make sure that you have controls and direction given to your finance. Okay, so this is something that you should focus on in these challenging times and also in good times. So with that, I like to say that Swami Amata Janapada Durga Kosha Danda Mitra, we are here to offer you an extended version. So here is an announcement which I like to make, and of course Ryan sir and everybody else will tell you in detail that if you want to understand the 7 pillars more in detail, this is a very basic introduction. Each of them, Swami ke qualities kya, Amata ke qualities kya, and everything. So we are offering this program free, and there are 7 groups from Mumbai University who's ready. So please get in touch with us. And from Wednesday onwards, we are ready to give it free. Of course, it's online. We are not able to do it right now physically. But Sanjay sir has been very kind to tell that, we'll also do a physical event. But right now, I'm announcing this, that all of you will be given a free program, extended one, absolutely on BI, okay, and the Mumbai University. So take this opportunity, please get in touch with them. We will deliver a complete Saptanga model for all of you, because we believe together we survive. And with that, I also want to thank my students over here and anybody who's interested in learning leadership. There's a course that is offered by the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. 2 years, as I told you, almost 1,000 hours of thinking, ideating about leadership. So we have these contacts. So students are also there. Anybody wants to learn? By the way, don't get into your mind that it's only for young students. The older, the better. In fact, I have students who are 60 years old also, chairman of companies also. In fact, we believe that leadership should be for the young, but also for the matured. So the next batch is going to be starting in, it's already almost August. So anybody wants to learn, don't worry. जो business कर रहे हैं, उन लोग ज़्यादा अच्छा फायदा उठाएंगे. So we have only weekend lectures, but very practical course. Get in touch with us. So with as of now, thank you so much. I'd like to hand over to Dr. Rajesh Doshi and the whole team for making this event a successful event. Thank you so much. Handing over to you, and we can take questions if there are any. So I'll stop the screen share as of now.
Thank you, sir. Ryan, you already shared the form for the next webinar session, right?
Yes, yes. I've just put it on the chat.
Yeah. Friends who would like to, register for the next session, kindly look at the chat box, and there's a form which you need to fill up. Then the back office will go back and come back to you with the date and time. But kindly fill it up as soon as possible.
Right. I'd like to add that you can also use this to get your entire office and your teams enrolled as well for this session, and help everyone take advantage of this program. The next session is also absolutely complimentary. It will be a little more in depth, which will be conducted by Dr. Pillai's team.
Is there any questions
so
anybody would like to ask? Sorry.
Yeah. So as the questions are coming in, just want to tell you, if you have a group ready of 55 people in an employee, we can do it customized for you also. So please fill in the forms. Happy to be part of your journey. Yes, questions, please.
Can I come in?
Yes, sure.
Yes, please, Mr. Puranik, please.
Is it possible to share this recording?
Mr. Puranik, we'll get back to you.
We are uploading it.
We'll send you the link.
YouTube and we'll send you the
I
link.
will appreciate that. Thank you. Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions to Dr. Pillai from the group there?
Hello. I want to ask about the program that you are offering. You said it's on every Wednesday, is it?
No. It's one starting from next Wednesday. So we have 7, teams ready to get into detail. So it will be starting. So you can choose. So if you have a group of 25 people ready in your company or your friend circle, we can specially do it for you. So when we say Wednesday, our discussion was that, I'm not open nahi chhod sakte. So we're ready. So only thing that you have to fill in the form and tell us, which organization and how many people are attending. So suppose you are a group of 5 people, maybe 5 more people and 10 more people. So what we require is just a minimum of 25. Starting from Wednesday, we will match the dates with you, the time with you. So it will be 1.5 hours online session to take the Saptanga model in detail. So the idea is starting from Wednesday, but not on Wednesday. It will be customized. There will be 7 parallel programs. So if somebody wants on Thursday also, it's fine. Friday also, it's fine. But starting from Wednesday.
Right. So we have to come to you with a group of 25. It's not that we can join as an individual or one or two. Okay. I appreciate it.
Individuals can club in to make one group.
Yeah. If you fill up the form, then we'll be able to club 25 people together.
Yeah, I have just filled the form right now. So yeah, sure.
Great.
Thank you. Questions? No questions. Wow.
No, I think you have left us in awe. That means the questions usually arise because of confusion from the past and the future, but we are in the present so much glued. So that's what it is. But on a more serious note, I think that was serious as well. But the 7 things which you have said, which are I would guess it runs all the 7 pillars on which the whole industry runs. And then when we go in for this course, which you are talking about, you will go into the details of each one, explaining how they all unfold. And then are you going to be giving us the flavors of the how also?
Yes, of course. That's how it is. Let me also put it the other way around. I was discussing with Sanjay sir, Naval, that if you require one-to-one help also, we are there. Huh? Don't think it's just only one-way lecture. वो क्या होता है कि that is the difference. This whole thing is that, we will handhold you if required. We want you to succeed. So this is right now theoretical model. So that's why we are, Sanjay sir always says, questions are the पूछ लो. But कभी कभी होता है, you may not be able to ask so many questions right now. But after this 7+, if you have questions, please let us know. That team's ready for you. So we're going to be teaching you the how also, and the process also.
Yes, Aman bhai, your question, please.
Yeah. Hello. Can you listen to me? Hello.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Dr. Saab, major challenge is in implementation. We have done some courses, learned something, but when it comes to implementation, it is always difficult. So how you will be able to help us in that? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, my question is how to implement. We have done few courses for entrepreneurship, and when it comes after 1 year, at least I am back to zero. So how in your course it will be implemented?
So that's a nice question. That's why we wanted to give you a flavor of what this course is all about by giving you for trying it next time. See, I'll tell you one thing. Life is first experimenting and then implementing. So I'll give you an analogy. When you go to an ice cream shop for the first time, okay? When you go to an ice cream shop, and a good ice cream shop, there'll be some 25, 30 flavors. And what will the ice cream vendor tell you? Thoda thoda dekh lo bhaiya. So if you're attending so many courses, do it. It's good. But you connect to someone, isn't it true? So aapko laga, this tender coconut is very good. So give me a full scoop. Now, if you experimented, applied one, you said something very nice. After 1 year, that taste may go, and there are new seasons coming in. Is it? So seasonal flavors aayenge, naye flavors aayenge. I would say after tasting, if you like something, implement it. And that implementation can be limited period also. That's fine. 1 year ke baad naya course attend karo. Maybe that ice cream vendor has to give you new flavors. But the danger is not experimenting. Okay, so not attending courses is the biggest danger. Which one you applied is also important. But remember, there are always upgrades in training programs with a lot of things happening, the dynamic. Like, 1.5 saal pehle Zoom kya tha, kisko pata tha? So now you got trained, you're implementing it, isn't it? So there are two kind of implementations. One is short-term implementation, and certain which becomes a part of a systems and process. Okay, so if somebody told you, Excel sheet or numbers, you don't have to worry about implementation. That's a part of your systems. It's a habit, isn't it true?
Right.
And certain things is for temporary period. For example, at Zoom kar rahe hain, or WhatsApp kar rahe hain, maybe after 2-3 years you have a better platform, but you can't say, ki wo acha nahi tha, isliye maine choda. So the relevance is there for a short period of time. So certain programs have limited relevance, certain programs have long-term relevance, and certain programs have permanent relevance. So today using a laptop is not an option, it's a necessity. But how do you know all these things till you actually test? So I would say that जितने भी Zoom fatigues है, थोड़ा settle होने दो, थोड़ा try करो, जो अच्छा लगा implement करो, और जो बहुत अच्छा implement हुआ है उसको continue कीजिए. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
So if
Do we have any more questions?
Okay. I think Ashish bhai, you can.
If you're done with the question answer session, we can move towards the end. Chanakya probably was India's greatest thought leader and philosopher. And we can't thank Dr. Pillai enough for lucidly explaining Chanakya's principles and thoughts and applying them to modern day life situations through his books, seminars, and now in this pandemic through webinars. He is someone who's really eager to share his knowledge with everyone, especially his BIA family. And we at BIA feel really privileged to have him as part of our association. Everyone might not know he's also heading our academia cell and taking a lot of efforts to drive it to greater heights. And the academia cell has been a focus area for us at BIA this year. We sincerely hope all of us and the rest of the BIA members who are not in attendance today generously take up his offer to generously hold detailed sessions with everyone and explain his model in greater detail. Thank you, Dr. Pillai, so much. Would also like to thank our participating associations, RATA, FPITA, IPMA, NIE, and the MSME and Startup Foundation for their support, for their continued support through all our webinars. Thank you, Dr. Pillai, and we hope to see you more often and through your detailed sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, doctor.
It was a
Thank
wonderful
you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. It was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan.